in the utility theory is this. This is your first very words that are supposed to be there in your essay. Utility is the satisfaction gained from the consumption of goods and services. It is the satisfaction. हम इसको happiness भी बोल सकते हैं, which you derive from the consumption of each and every unit. इसको मैथमेटिकली हमने न्यूमेरिकल्स में डाल के इसको यूटिल्स के थ्रू कन्वर्जन करने की कोशिश की है. A lot of economists still disagrees with this idea, but you know we need to quantify it, mathematically prove it. So हमें किसी तरह से ये जो मेरी feeling है utility और satisfaction की, I need to convert this into number form. So we do this in restaurants and places like that all the time. Rank 0 to 10, how was the service, how was the quality, how was the ambience, वगैरह वगैरह. ठीक है? So utils is basically a numerical value which is measuring satisfaction. So let's take a look at this table right here. So this table is about Darren, and Darren in a day's time, when he consumes the crisps, I guess it's the chips, and when he in a daytime he's consuming it, this is the data we get from him. The data says these are the number of packets that he's consuming. If he consumes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is the total utility that he's going to get. Total utility क्या होता है? This is what total utility is. It is the total satisfaction a person gains from consuming X number of commodity. So for example, if I was to ask you, what is the total utility he gets from consumption of how many units? 3 units. So you're going to tell me it is 13 utils. What is the total utility he gets from consumption of 5 crisps that he consumes in a day? He gets 14. So ये तो हो गई इसकी total utility. 3 units पे 13, 5 units के ऊपर total 14. अब निकाल लेते हैं marginal utility. Marginal utility का बड़ा simple सा formula है. Marginal का मतलब ही है additional के बारे में. 1 extra unit. That's what marginal means, right? Done it very plenty of times. Whenever you consume 1 extra unit, how much utility that 1 extra unit gave you in satisfaction, वो marginal utility है. इसका formula है simple. mu is equals to change in total utility over change in quantity. That's our formula. So for example, if I want to take out mu1, yani what's the marginal utility for my first unit? It is total utility I get from the first unit minus total utility I get from consuming 0 units divided by the first quantity minus the previous quantity. And turns out, what are you doing based on the numbers is, first unit पे total utility 7 थी, second 0 units पे 0 है, and 1 minus 0 है, so you basically get 7. This is like a very elaborate form. You don't even have to do this way. सिर्फ और सिर्फ एग्जाम के अंदर ये फॉर्मूला लिखना है. ओके, और टेबल के फॉर्म से हु इज गोइंग टू टेल मी फर्स्ट यूनिट कंज्यूम करने पे मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी कितनी है? यू से 7 बिकॉज 0 से 7 द चेंज इज बाय 7. What about my second unit? When I consume the second unit, the change in marginal utility is by 4. Total it was 11. फर्स्ट यूनिट ने 7 की सेटिस्फैक्शन दी, दूसरे यूनिट ने 4 की दी, टोटल 11 हो गई. एंड देन यू कंटिन्यू फ्रॉम द थर्ड यूनिट, द MU is 2 and then it's what is it 1 and then it's 0 and then minus 1. So you already know this, that as you're consuming more and more, your total utility is going up till it hits a maximum point and then it starts to go down. Marginal utility is telling you the story how each and every unit, as you continuously consume, the marginal utility just went down and down until it reached 0 and then it went into minus. Minus meant a complete disutility from it. You felt sick after consumption of it. ठीक है, ऐसे ही होगा बिलाल, राइट? एक चीज़ बार बार कंज्यूम करते जाओगे तो आखिरी यूनिट तक बिल्कुल बेकार लगना शुरू हो जाएगा, और फिर भी इफ आई फोर्स इट डाउन यू विल स्टार्ट फीलिंग सिक. ये माइनस जो है वो सिकनेस की फीलिंग बता रहा है बेसिकली. If I was to plot this as I have, let's see, this is how this plot is going to look like. There are few errors in this diagram, so mazarat ke saath, but idea is slightly the same. The thing is, it was just hard to make it on the computer. So as you're consuming more and more, your total utility is going up. फिर फोर्थ और फिफ्थ यूनिट के ऊपर एक्चुअली इट वाज सपोज्ड टू पीक, ओके, वाज सपोज्ड टू स्टे फ्लैट आउट बिकॉज द नंबर्स डोंट चेंज, इट्स 14 and 14, and then it starts to go down. Whereas your marginal utilities, what I've taught you is always a halfway midway point होता है, लेकिन in this one again it was very difficult to plot. So खैर, फर्स्ट यूनिट पे मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी इज 7, सो इट्स समवेयर अराउंड जस्ट बिलो 8, 7 के ऊपर आ रही है. सेकेंड यूनिट के ऊपर इट्स 4, ऑन द थर्ड यूनिट इट्स अबाउट 2, ऑन द फोर्थ यूनिट इट्स 1, ऑन द फिफ्थ इट्स 0, द मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी 0 ऑन द फिफ्थ यूनिट, and then it goes into negative, and so it does go into the negative side, right? It is going in the negative side over here. तो ये तुम्हारा दो ग्राफ्स की प्लॉटिंग है. एग्जाम के अंदर तुमने नंबर्स के साथ प्लॉट नहीं करना, सिंपल नोटेशंस के साथ प्लॉट करना है. अ फ्यू इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स अबाउट दिस इज, सबसे खास पॉइंट तो ये वाला है हमारा, जहां पर MU 0 होगा वहां पर टोटल यूटिलिटी मैक्सिमम होगी. एंड लेट्स चेक इट आउट. इट इज सपोज टू बी maximum over here. यहाँ पे MU 0 होगा and TU अपना maximum hit करता है. Is there in your notes also? Whenever the MU is greater than 0, that means positive, your TU will be rising. Okay? And when MU is less than 0, matlab negative, your TU is going to fall as a result of that, because it's going to eat away from the satisfaction that you're getting. And so this is the diagram that you're going to make about total and marginals, and that's going to like sort of sum it up. And the final thing that you have to do is this. The law of diminishing marginal utility, we also call it in short LDMU, and we can see LDMU के लिए you have to look at the MU का graph. Okay, when I look at my MU का graph, this is what I see. As I'm consuming more and more, my marginal utility from each extra unit is going down. Okay, it never went up and then down. So since it's just continuously falling, it is suggesting us this definition right here. Law of diminishing marginal utility क्या कहता है? That as the person increases consumption of a product, same product, exact same size, same packaging, same flavor, everything is exactly the same. As you increase the consumption of the product, there is a decline in the marginal utility. There's a decline in the additional satisfaction that is driven from the consumption of each additional. This is your marginal utility. If it doesn't fall, if it stays the same, that's a different story. But generally we say that it is to fall down. Okay? Consumption of same product over and over again is going to diminish the satisfaction which is driven from it. All right. So that's our definition for this. For it then. Now, I've taught this slightly in a different way earlier. Now I'm going to go a little more into detail of it. We're going to try and find consumer equilibrium. एक single product में consumer equilibrium कहाँ होता है? ठीक है? For that, I'm going to take help of the previous example of Darren's eating crisp, and we have the diagram for it. Where is it? The MU is already given to us. Okay? Now, yeah. So I have given you the MU already. Let's suppose इस product की price भी तुमको बता देते हैं. The product price is actually $2. Okay? So if the product price is $2, let me do a marking on $2 then. It's gonna be something like this. This is the price for it. Alright? This is the price for this product. Do you see an equilibrium here?
Yes, sir.
Where is it? How much should I consume? I should consume 3 units. That's my एक single product का without budget, without price of the goods, सब चीज़ों को ignore करके, if I'm talking about a single product, this is where the equilibrium comes. The equilibrium happens when the marginal utility is exactly equals to the price. Okay? Now let me talk about what is marginal consumer surplus. Marginal means one extra unit के ऊपर. So can anyone tell me what was the consumer surplus that I got from the consumption of the first unit?
6. No, 7.
So from the first unit, my marginal consumer surplus is, it's 5.
अच्छा, we're gonna minus
My-
7 by 2.
Yeah. Basically what's happening is कि मैं इस पे marginal utility place कर रहा हूँ 7 की. For the first unit मैंने जो consume किया मुझे MU मिला था 7 का. मैंने उसके लिए $2 की price पे की है. तो मुझे जो additional satisfaction मिला वो 5 का. Should I consume this? I say I should consume this. On the second unit, I am getting a utility of 4
2.
and I am paying a price of 2 and it gives me an additional satisfaction of 2. Should I consume it?
Yes.
I say I should consume this unit as well. And then I reach this point. Let's suppose if I was to consume the fourth unit, what will happen then?
Minus.
I'm paying a price of 2, the satisfaction I'm placing on it is 1. So it's actually giving me a dissatisfaction. You understand?
Yes.
These MUs are my personal values. This is the price that I have to pay. And we've already learned consumer surplus is the difference between what you're willing to pay, MU, and what you actually pay, the product price. And so my marginal consumer surplus are these ones. And the total would be, what would the total be?
That's 7.
Area below the MU curve and above the price. That's my total consumer surplus. Simple as that. Are we clear with this? So, consumer equilibrium क्या है? Let's draw this one. The first thing is the MU is given. MU, it's your personal, you can construct it. Okay? Then the price is actually in utils. It's not in dollars, it's in util forms. Because how can we have utils and price एक ही उसके ऊपर? It's not possible. Until and unless my conversion rate was $1 equals to 1 utils. Then it would have made perfect sense. कि $1 एक util का है तो I could have ये axes के ऊपर same numbers would have been accepted. But it's not like that. So just hold that thought for a moment. So consumer equilibrium happens right over here at this quantity when MU is equals to P. I'll mark it. That's my consumer equilibrium for one good only. Okay? For a single good. If I was consuming on the lesser side, then in that case my MU is actually greater than price. So I say we should increase the consumption. That's what a disequilibrium basically means. On the other hand, if I was consuming on this side, this is telling me that the mu is actually less than the price you're paying, so I should decrease my consumption. Again, a disequilibrium. So the equilibrium is where mu is equals to P. I need mu equals to P. They should be equal. They should have same value. And for this purpose, we have something called the marginal utility of money. We have something called marginal utility of money, which in our example, अभी मैं नीचे example दे रहा हूँ, उसके अंदर I will already give it to you. $1 equals to 2 utils, and now you will understand कि mu को मैंने price में कैसे conversion दिया. Take a look at this example right here. MUs are given to you. So since it's not going into the negatives, I'll just mark it like this. This is my MU. Now, price is $6. Okay. MUs के जो numbers हैं 1, 2, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, and यहाँ पर जो इसकी rankings आ रही हैं, that's about 16 here, 14, 12, 10, 8, something like this. Okay, these are my labels. If I was to plot MU, this is how it would actually look like. Information given below is that the individual's marginal utility of money is $1 gives you 2 utils. Now this is separate. मेरे से पूछा अगर जाए कि तुम बताओ $1 कितना वर्थ करता है in terms of utils, I say $2. For 2 utils. For you it could have been 4, 10. It's your individual number. But for me, I'm saying for every dollar that I spend, I want to get 2 utils out of it. Okay? अब अगर प्रोडक्ट की प्राइस $6 है तो how much utils do I want from it? I want 12 utils from it. So this way I've converted the price in utils form. If I'm paying $6 for it, I want 12 utils का satisfaction from it. Okay? But when I consume the product, this is how my utility actually comes about. 16, 14, 12 वगैरह. अगर मैं $6 spend कर रहा हूँ, I should get 12 utils. What I've actually just done is मैंने डॉलर को utils में conversion दे दिया ताकि यहाँ पे अब इस axis के ऊपर मैं utils के form पे देख लूँ इसको. So we can clearly see where the equilibrium is. कहाँ पर है? On the third unit. Because जैसे ही मैंने इसको conversion दिया price को utils के form में at 12 I have a consumer equilibrium where the marginal utility is equals to the price. Now, if I was constructing a demand curve for it, I'll actually do it. Let me just place it on the side.
So demand curve तो हुआ है ना marginal.
नहीं अभी नहीं बना है अभी नहीं बना. Let me show you exactly how I will do it. Again, in my notes, I did the shortcut for it because I just did not want to spend too much time on it. But let's say this is how it goes. Now, if I just take price and not price in utils, if I just take price, because demand curve में तो सिर्फ price होता है, right? और price उन्होंने दिया हुआ है $6. तो मैंने मार्क कर दिया $6. कितनी क्वांटिटी मैं कंज्यूम कर रहा हूँ $6 पे बेस्ड ऑन माई इंटायर थिंग 3 $6 पे लेट मी गिव माई पॉइंटर एज 3 ओके नाउ व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज लेट्स से इसी एग्जांपल के अंदर नाउ आई मेक चेंजेस एंड आई मेक प्राइस इज इक्वल्स टू $5 कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट विल आई डू नाउ फर्स्ट गो ओवर देयर if the price has changed to 5 अब मैं इसकी प्राइस नहीं निकालता हूं, यूटिल्स में कन्वर्जन करता हूं, every dollar is equals to 2, तो $5 should give me a satisfaction of, and now I'm looking for this equilibrium. प्राइस को मैं अगर 10 पे लेके चला जाता हूं, now I'll call it P1, it's at 4, तो $5 के ऊपर my second point is 4. So for my demand curve, I actually have my 2 points, and this is how it will keep on going, and that's my demand curve right here for this good, जहां यहां पे MUO equals to PO के बराबर है और यहां MU1 equals to P1 के बराबर है. Okay, right here MU1 is equals to P1. तो हमारा जो डिमांड कर्व बनता है वो बेसिकली is going to be in the dollar way. Utility के अंदर through this, without this information, it's impossible to actually come up with that. Until it was कि हर dollar equals to 1 utils, तो फिर exact same copy कर दो, tension ही नहीं है. But since your marginal utility of money is different, your demand curve का construction is going to be slightly different also. ठीक हो गया? Are we good with this? All right. Now, the problem that comes about is this. This was just for one product. Okay? What in real life happens is you have a budget, you have various products, and every product gives you different satisfactions. They have different prices. And you have to come about a way in which you use that limited income while paying different prices for the good to get the highest satisfaction, as the picture is suggesting. This is actually from the notes itself. We use for multiple goods. For a single product, we can use the LDMU model, which we just did. For multiple products, to come up with an equilibrium, we have to use the law of equimarginal utility per dollar. And what is that? Well, it's about how consumer will distribute his limited income in such a combination that he maximizes on the utility. Okay? This experiment, let's try and understand what's happening. You have 3 products, product A, product B, and product C. If you look at the lectures, in the lectures we've actually given them specific names. I think the first one we called it was the Jubilee. I don't know if you guys know of this chocolate. And then you have the dairy milk. And then C, we spoke about Kit Kat. Now, obviously, their relative prices are different because of the quality and whatever other information is available to us. Our income is $15. So we have to spend $15 in such a way that we get the highest level of satisfaction. Okay? Now, uske piche we have this table. Ki product A, if you consume 0, you will get 0 utility. Same goes with this and same goes with that. Because you don't consume anything, your total utility will be 0. If you consume your first Jubilee, you will get 20 ka utils ka satisfaction. For the same first dairy milk, you'll get 36. And for the same Kit Kat, you're going to get 40 ka satisfaction. This is how the table works. If you're consuming 2 units, the total utility is 35 for Jubilee. For dairy milk, it's 60 for combined. And for Kit Kat, it's 75. And so on. Overall, total utility driven from Kit Kat is far greater than both of them. But unfortunately, the prices are different as well. So what we do is, we try to find out the marginal utilities for each. The first unit, my marginal utility is 20. For the second, it's 15. For the third, it's 11. Sorry, my bad. It's 11. And then it's 8. And then it's 6. Let's do the same for dairy milk. First gives you 36. And then 24. 15, 9, 6. Okay. Let's try another one. For KitKat, the first one gives you 40, 35, 30, 25, and 20. Now this is what's happening. If you consume your first Jubilee, it gives you 20 ka satisfaction. The first KitKat, Dairy Milk 36, and the first KitKat. If on a single tray you had various quantities of all three, which one would you pick? You would go for KitKat first, and it's for free. You don't have to pay any price for it. So obviously you're going to go for this one. What will be the candy you're going to eat next? Will it be your first Jubilee? Will it be your first Dairy Milk? Or will it be your second KitKat? So based on the numbers, it's going to be, in fact, the first Dairy Milk, because 36 is a higher utility than 35. You understand? Khizr, please follow. So the thing is, you will always look for higher utility. But the problem is, this was for free. When you have to pay a price, you start measuring the quantity you're getting and satisfaction that it's going to get. What will you do is, we're going to take that the first unit 20 marginal utility तुमको मिली $1 में. So mu divided by the dollar is 20 because the price was the same. Let me do it in purple this time. Now for the Dairy Milk, the first Dairy Milk gave you the satisfaction of 36, which is greater than Jubilee, which is fair. You're paying $3 for it. For this one, you're just paying $1, and you're getting 20 utility. You're getting 36 for $3. When you divide it by per dollar ki basis pe, you get 12. Now the comparison is better. Ki $1 of this versus $1 of this. This is actually giving you a higher return, so you should actually consume this over that if you were to pay the price for it. And then 40 divided by 5 gives you 8. And this is how we're going to get our numbers. I think for this, because you're dividing it by 1, the numbers will remain the same. For the second one, it's 8, 5, and 2. Alright, so these are your numbers. So the equi-marginal principle simply says that wherever per dollar, wherever you're going to get exactly same results, like for example, we can clearly see in our example 8, 8, and 8. Per dollar wise, the mu per dollar for good B and mu dollar for good C, they are all equal, and this is what equi-marginal principle is. So what does these 8, 8, 8 represents? Well, these 8, 8, and 8 represents that for Dairy Milk, for Jubilee, you should at least consume 4 of this. For Dairy Milk, you should consume 2. And for KitKat, you should consume 1. Let's see if it is in our budget. Okay, so budget was $15, and we're going to take a look at 4 into 1 equals to $4 I've spent on this. 2 into 3, I've spent $6 on this, and 1 into $5 each, I spend about $5 here, and my $15 gets spent. I did not take my budget into consideration, but 888 automatically tells me this is what's happening. After that, let's measure how much utility am I driving from it. 4 of these gives me a satisfaction of 54 utils in total. 54. Two of these give me satisfaction of 60. Total utility, 2 dairy milk ki, it's 60 based on the table. And for the last one, for the first of my Kit Kat, I get a satisfaction of 40. And this gives me a total utils of 154. There is no other combination in $15 which will give you a higher utility than 154. So based on this extensive exercise that we've just done, what we have come up with is an equilibrium key equation, which is MUA divided by price of A, if it is equals to MUB divided by the price of B, and it should equals to MUC. If you have same numbers, you have an equilibrium. But if these numbers don't match, for example, if per dollar spending on MUA was greater than per dollar spending on MUB, you would consume more of this because per dollar you're getting a higher return and less of this. You understand this? ये तो हमारा disequilibrium था, and this is how we matched it. So let's come to the practice question for this. We've come up with the equation, which is MUA divided by price of A is equals to MUB divided by price of B equals to so on, so on, so on. It can go up to hundreds and thousands of products. So, example is such. Example में क्या दिया हुआ है? गुड A है, उसका MUA 4 है और उसका प्राइस ऑफ A जो है वो 2 है. Good B का MUB is 2 and price of B is actually $1. Let's place it in our equation and see what's happening. If I do MUA divided by price of A, this particular statement is marginal utility per dollar of good A. This is just marginal utility per dollar of good A. इसको अगर मैं equals to करके MUB divided by price of B करता हूं, now I have two goods, और ये अब बन गया law of equimarginal principle. These are equimarginal principles. Okay, just a single one is marginal utility per dollar, and collectively it becomes a law of marginal equimarginal principle. So if I place in the numbers, what do I get? 4 divided by 2 and 2 divided by 1, they are equal. All right, it's equals to 2. That means I have a consumer equilibrium. Let's construct a demand curve for this. I have good A. This is the price of A and this is the quantity of A. And then I'll work on product B later on. How do we construct a demand curve? Well, this is what you do. Initially, they have given you that price of A is $2. Okay, this is already given to us. Price of A is $2 right here. How much are you consuming? Well, I don't know. They haven't given me the quantity. And it's all right if they haven't given you the quantity. We can just roughly mark our own. Let's say it's this. This is the quantity that I'm consuming. I'll call it QO. Okay. What has happened next matters because this is what's going to help me construct the demand curve. Price of A has gone down. Okay, it has gone down. I'll do my equation one more time. Let's see what's happening. MUA divided by price of A should actually equals to MUB divided by price of B. Let's work it out. ऊपर हमको MUA was given as 4. The price has gone down to 1. Whereas the other informations do not change. Okay? So what's happening? Is it equal?
Yeah.
It's not equal. 4 is greater than 2. Price fell down to $1 now. Let's do the marking. So if this side is bigger than this side, what should your transaction be?
Good or more of good.
More of this and less of that. So since I'm consuming more, so Q1 से ज़्यादा quantity होनी चाहिए. QO से I'll mark it as Q1. I have 2 points to construct a demand curve, and this is how the demand curve is constructed using an equimarginal principle. If the price of good B had changed, तो B के ऊपर movement along the curve होती. Can you see there's a movement along the curve that's happening over here? It's happening. Good A में movement क्यों हो रही है? Because price of A fell down, and that's why you have a movement along the curve. What's happening in B? Well, in B the price did not change. So if let's suppose you have the demand curve for this, and the price that was given to us was $1, and I was consuming about QO, and now based on the equimarginal principle, I am suggesting the price of B is not changing, but I am asked to consume less of it. So on the same price, if I'm consuming less of something, that means it's a shifting factor, and this is going to cause my demand curve to actually move to the left. And इसके लिए भी एक condition है that the products have to be substitutes in certain ways. ठीक है? Otherwise this shift would not have happened. For you, the key purpose is that you need to know how a price fall can have an impact on the demand curve. How can it help you construct the demand curve? And that's what your essays are going to be about construction of the demand curve. In another way, what has happened is, I'll do just the good A ka price. This time they are saying the price went up. So MUA divided by price of A should equals to MUB divided by price of B. The numbers were, MUA was 4. The price has gone up to 4 also. And for this, it was 2 and the price was equal. Now they're not equal. In fact, you're getting less satisfaction in this as compared to that. So what should you do? I should consume more of B and less of this. So let me construct. Price A की change हुई है, तो good A के अंदर demand curve कैसे construct होगा? पहले $2 पे था, तो I was consuming QO. And then when the price went up to $4, we are saying you should consume less of it, less than QO, sorry. And so I have my second point. Draw a line and you have the demand curve. Again, since good A ka price has gone up, we can see that the quantity demanded has gone down. There is a movement along the curve again. So every time the price will change, equimarginal principle will become disequilibrium, and that disequilibrium will try to restore itself, and this is how it's going to do that. Okay?